Hello dear students. In today's lecture we are going to start our next topic in the life science process or the life processes, and that will be the second stage and the third stage in the human digestive system. But before we going to start that topic, let us take a brief preview on what we have earlier studied in this chapter. So, in Vidyadis Vidya Sankul, on behalf of Vidyadis Vidya Sankul, I will welcome you on the e-learning class of Standard 10th Science. Okay, so let us begin the brief preview on previous lecture. Already we have finished in this chapter that there are four kinds of life processes will be happening during our whole life, and that will be the first process is called as the nutrition, in which we have already seen the two kinds of nutrition process, that will be the autotrophic nutrition and the heterotrophic nutrition. The organisms which make their own food will be considered as the autotrophic nutrition, and the organisms which are dependent on the other, they will be doing the heterotrophic nutrition process. So we can consider the heterotrophic nutrition into the subcategories as the saprophytic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, and the holozoic nutrition. We are considering the saprophytic nutrition, in which the organisms will dependent on the dead or the decaying organism, that will be known as the saprophytic nutrition. And the parasitic nutrition is those organisms which are dependent on the other organism without killing the host. They will consist the food from without killing them, and they will still consist the food from them, and then afterwards they will distribute the food, and then they will convert it into the energy for whatever the process they want to do. So in the last process, that will be the holozoic nutrition. In we have seen that there is a two kinds of holozoic nutrition process will be happening, and that will be the first process is known as the single cellular nutrition and the multicellular nutrition. In the single cellular nutrition, we have seen that there is a process in the amoeba we have studied, and for the digestion in the amoeba there will be the four steps to remember, that how do they do the nutrition or the digestion process in their body, and that will be considered as the first process as the ingestion, second one is the digestion, third one is the assimilation or absorption, and fourth one is the egestion. Okay, so in the ingestion they will intake the food into their body by creating the artificial projected fingers, like they called as a pseudopodia. They will intake the body from that. Afterwards, in the second process, or maybe we can say that in the second stage, in the digestion, they will do the digestion process, that will be the substance that will be consist within the food particle will get the digested into that, and afterward in the assimilation or the absorption, the all the substance that will be digested from the food particle will get distributed to overall body, and afterward in the egestion, that will be the waste material that is produced during the whole digestion system, and that will get the waste material producing during the whole digestion system, that will get removed from the body. Afterwards, we have started the human being's digestion, and for that we have seen this basic diagram. You can see it on your screen. Okay, this is the basic diagram we have seen in the previous lecture. We have remembered the sum of the seven names from the human digestive system, and that will be considerable as the mouth, food pipe. We can consider stomach, liver, pancreas, and this will be the large intestine, this will be the small intestine, and anus. And these will be the 7 stages that that we have to memorize, because for the whole digestive system we need to explain this whole structure of the 7 stages, and we need to explain the whole process that will be doing in these 7 stages. Okay, we have seen so far in the mouth's digestion that what happened during the digestion in mouth. So first of all, the food will start to break down by using the teeth in our mouth. Afterwards, what happened? There is a salivary gland presented that creates or that secretes the saliva into the mouth, and that will consist and that will lies within the food that we have already eaten and that we have already chewed. Okay, so salivary glands create the saliva, and that contains the salivary amylase that gets mixed with the food that we have eaten already. Afterwards, the food will transport to mouth to stomach by using the food pipe. And then we have seen the stomach. Now food will reach the stomach, means here the part, okay. Okay, now we can consider that stomach. We have reached the stomach by food chewing from here to came here, okay. So now food will lies here, but in these food lies in here, then what happened? Then there are the gland called gastric glands is present here. Gastric gland is present here, and in which we can understand that gastric glands create the two kinds of enzymes, and that will be known as the pepsin and mucus. In the previous lecture we have seen that pepsin and mucus. So what do they do? So pepsin enzyme will create the hydrochloric acid to digest the food very easily, because we have to digest the food. So we need to dissolve the food. Still the liquid shape, liquid form of the food will not enough to digest and to take a place or to circulate the whole amount of substances that will be consist within the food. So we have to make sure that it will come in the liquid form, and we have to give a liquid to that. And so for that the pepsin enzyme create the hydrochloric acid. Okay, pepsin enzyme creates the hydrochloric acid into the stomach, and that gets mixed with the food, and afterwards the food it goes to the afterwards the mixing with the hydrochloric acid, the food still lies there, and afterwards the liver and pancreas process digestion will happen, and then the small intestines food will digestion in this small intestine will be happen. But for creating the hydrochloric acid, now if you think that sir it creates the hydrochloric acid, and if it has the hydrochloric acid, then sometimes if you think that that why we are eating the food and why this hydrochloric acid is produced, and what happened to this hydrochloric acid. So for that the protection layer around the stomach will be also produced, and a protection layer around the stomach is also there, and for that the mucus enzyme will work. It gives the protection in the stomach, okay. So we can understand that now that gastric glands create the two kinds of enzyme into the stomach, and stomach will create this digestion starting process of the, it gets pepsin enzyme that gets the releasing the hydrochloric acid that gets mixed with the food, and afterwards food goes to the next level, okay, into the digestive system, and mucus will protect the stomach's whole wall from the food hydrochloric acid, okay. And so sometimes if you hear the word that you got the acidity, okay, then it means what happened, that it means the hydrochloric acid's level gets increased in your stomach, and it will touch your wall to the stomach, and that's why you feel little bit of exaggeration in your body, okay. So we can consider it like that. Okay, going to the next part that we are discussing today, and the only part we are discussing today, that will be the digestion in the small intestine. Okay, we'll be discussing only the digestive system in today's lecture. Okay, we'll let it be here. Okay, I will just write the name, and afterwards we will start the next part of the digestive system. I will write the whole part. So it will be the mouth, digestive system in human being. So we will be going to the point digestion in small intestine. Now, first we need to understand this small intestine's size into herbivorous and into the carnivorous. So there is a different kinds of size, means that size. So small intestine will be very much shorter in the herbivorous. The organism or the things which are herbivorous, we know very well that what are the herbivorous and what are the carnivorous. Those things who only dependent on the grass or the vegetables, they are called as the herbivorous, okay, or we can say that they are only dependent on the plants, okay, while the carnivorous are the dependent on the animals, okay. So those who are the herbivorous are, we can say that, okay, we'll take another marker so we can write it here, okay. Now first point is the herbivorous has a shorter small intestine. So they, if herbivores take out the small intestine, they will be shorter in the length rather than the carnivorous small intestine. If we take the two human beings in which one is the herbivorous and second is the carnivorous, then if we take out the small intestine from their body, the herbivorous person gets the smaller, shorter length small intestine, while the carnivorous person gets the longer length small intestine. So herbivorous has shorter small intestine, while in the carnivorous has longer small intestine. Okay, so this is the highlight point, that herbivorous shorter small intestine and carnivorous has longer small intestine. Okay, so from that you can make the notes. So this will be the first 2 points that you need to discuss whenever you are starting the digestion in the small intestine. Okay, whenever you are starting to doing the digestion in the in the small intestine, then you need to explain this both the phenomena that will be happening during the digestion in the herbivorous and the carnivorous. Okay, we'll go to discuss the next point, but next point will consist the liver and the pancreas basic structure. Okay, we'll be discussing that. Okay, now if you think that, sir, we are talking about the small intestine, why this liver and pancreas came into the digestion of the small intestine? But if you think that we are going to the small intestine by the liver and the pancreas, okay, so that's why we need to go through that, and whenever we are digesting the food here, it came from the here also. Okay, so we'll be discussing for that perspective. Okay, this marker is not working properly. I have to change another marker. Now what happened in the liver? So liver creates some kind of juice, and that will get the food digestion. Now our food contains the 3 parts. Okay, means 3 substances into that. So first part in the our food, that will be the proteins, second one is the carbohydrates, and the third one is the fats. So now our food consists of these 3 substances, and then we have to digest that 3 substances. So how can we digest that 3 substances that is already present in our food? So for that, the liver will create, okay, This liver will create the bile juice. What it creates? It creates the bile juice. Okay. While pancreas create the pancreatic juice. Bile juice will came into that it will digest the food of, will give you so it will create the bile juice, it will digest the fats that is presented in our food. It will do the digestion of the fats. Now how these fats will digested? So the fats will be presented into the form of the globules. It will present in the form of globules. Okay, and now these globules means what? Globules means if you have seen that paneer, cheese, then you have seen that there is a square types of shape will be for that, and we can say that the globules means like that type of structure. So fats will be presented onto that type of structure, and afterwards what happened, that these larger fat globules get converted into or get distributed or get break down into the smaller globules, and this is how the bile juice will digest the fats into that. Okay, convert. What convert it? It converts the large globules, larger fat globules to smaller fat globules. Okay, is it clear everyone? Okay, now we'll go to the pancreas. Now pancreas create the pancreatic juice, which contains the two kinds of thing or two kinds of enzyme, then that will be known as trypsin and lipase. Okay, I think you cannot see this properly, so I will write it here. Okay, I think I am. Pancreatic juice, in which there is a two kinds of enzyme will be presented. This will be known as the trypsin and lipase. Now trypsin will digest the protein. What it digests? It digests the protein, because our food has a lots of protein into that. So for digesting the protein, we need the trypsin enzyme that will be secreted in the pancreatic juice. For lipase enzyme, it will digest the fats. Now you think that, sir, it will repeat here and here, but it will convert the larger fat globules to the smaller, while it digests the whole amount of fats into that. Okay, so we are going to the another topic, that trypsin will digest the protein and lipase will digest the fats. That's it for the liver and pancreas. Another time we will repeat that what happened in the digestion of the liver and pancreas, and we are talking about the digestion in the small intestine. So liver will create the bile juice, pancreas will create the pancreatic juice, bile juice will digest the fats contained in the food. It converts the larger fat globules to the smaller fat globules. In the pancreas, it creates the pancreatic juice, which contains the two kinds of enzyme, and that will be the trypsin and lipase. The trypsin will digest the protein contains within the food, and the lipase enzyme will digest the fats contained within the food. Okay, Now we are going to the another point, but before we going to that, we'll highlight that. Okay, larger fat globules to smaller fat. Here the pancreatic juice is the main item. The trypsin and the lipase will be also the main item. It will digest the protein and the fats. Now in the small intestine, if you look carefully, that here and here will the some of the digestion process will happen. Now in the small intestine, what happened? The small intestine has, okay, small intestine creates intestinal juice. What it creates? It creates the intestinal juice. And this intestinal juice is used for, I'm going to now blank this screen so that we can write it here, some of the points, okay, because it is very, very important, and that's why we have to do that. Okay, as you can see that it creates the intestinal juice, and in the intestinal juice there will be the three types of conversion process is happening. Now what will be the three types of conversion processes happen? So first, the protein gets converted. Another thing that gets converted is carbohydrates. And another thing that will get converted is called as the fat. So these three things we have to convert them. Now if you can see clearly, then intestinal juice will convert the protein into the amino acid. We can say that amino acid. The carbohydrates will convert the intestinal juice convert carbohydrates into glucose, and intestinal juice will convert fats into fatty acid or glycerol. Okay. Now these whole things gets digested, but what happened to the this amino acid, glucose and fatty acid? Now it will get digested into our body, and that will goes to the small finger-like structure called the villi, into the small intestine. As small finger-like structure. That is called villi. Okay, this is very important point. Okay, because this villi will take the food from here, small finger like structure. Okay, so this villi will take the food, and after taking the food they will distribute it in our whole body. Okay, so this is the whole digestion take a place in the small intestine. As I have told you that we are going to just see the single digestion stage into this lecture. Afterwards, in the next lecture, we are going to see the large intestine's digestion, and we are going to see the respiratory system. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for reading this lecture. If you had any kind of doubt, you can ask me into my personal WhatsApp number. Okay, till then, bye bye everyone, and take care of yourself. So in the board examination, sometimes this question will be asked and you need to explain whole the concept. Okay, so I will give you a brief 2 seconds of time, and afterward I will stop the video. Okay, so bye bye everyone, and take care of yourself.